Hey, welcome back to the show. Today's topic is going to be about smear campaigns and flying monkeys. I know this is a topic that is a relatively old topic and comes up quite a bit, but in light of recent events, I thought it would be a good opportunity to review that and address it and cover some of the main points that are really important when you're dealing with a smear campaign, when you're dealing with flying monkeys, and how to deal with that. So the first thing is that when your ex feels threatened and they are looking to basically destroy your credibility, they will encourage or elicit fans of theirs, so to speak, to run a smear campaign on you. It's like they're surrogate agents that can jump into the battle, that can try to tear down your reputation and try to make you feel, scared about what's going on. Maybe make you feel like you want to back off and not really address it head on, which we'll get into that in a moment. But it's really tough whenever you have your ex attacking you and then you have these other people who you may or may not know who are also parroting the same thing. It can really be tough. Oftentimes, the first thing that you want to try to do in this situation is you want to defend yourself. You want to convince that flying monkey that they are wrong and that they've been lied to and that they are following or a part of a smear campaign against you. The problem is whenever people are in the camp or in Camp Narc or Camp X, or even if they're in your camp, they are going to typically believe you over or believe that person over anybody else. So, and keep in mind that when you're in this situation, you're basically the target. You are the villain of the story. You are the one who is the abuser. You are the one that's done everything wrong. And they have bought into the scenario or into the story that your ex is this defenseless bunny rabbit. I'm not sure what the right term for a guy would be, but that they're the victim of all of this. And in that situation, they aren't going to believe you. You can sit there and try to go down point by point on why they're on, team wrong, and it's not going to work. Now, the problem with that is that in the beginning parts of this, you really want to do that. That is what you're striving to do. You're striving to convince them of what is really going on, get them to reject the ex, get them to reject the narcissistic person, and be an advocate or an ally for you. Unfortunately, that very rarely happens, and if it does happen, it typically is because they're mutual friends and maybe they haven't completely made up their mind, so they're kind of still on the fence and they're trying to figure out everything that's going on. The problem is that we end up wasting a tremendous amount of energy and effort fighting that fight, trying to convince people, trying to rally, subjects to you, and it's an exercise in frustration. It will drive you crazy. It will keep you connected to the ex. And it's one of those fights that just isn't really worth it. Now, I get that in the beginning part of that is a hard thing to acknowledge. And it was really difficult for me. I was trying to make sure everybody saw everything that was going on. I wanted them to understand what I was dealing with. I wanted them to see the catastrophe that was happening. In some ways, I wanted them to talk some sense into the ex. But, it just doesn't happen. And the problem is whenever you're actively in that mode, trying to fight a smear campaign, trying to combat flying monkeys, you end up getting yourself more and more ramped up, more and more stressed, and unfortunately more and more unbelievable. Am I saying that right? Where it's harder for people to believe you because you're coming across so stressed, so anxious, so terrified that it's like they get like, oh crap, wow, something's wrong with that person. And it's really bizarre and it's really tough. And your best case scenario, you're better off just being relaxed, saying, you know what, it's a complicated situation. I don't know what's been told to you, but, believe whatever you want to believe. It's complicated. It's tough. I wish it wasn't this bad, but there's nothing I can do about it. And the problem is a lot, and oftentimes whenever you say that, they're going to be like, well, you could try harder. It's because of you. You're both being stupid. And honestly, guys, here's the key point on all of this. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter that who turns on you. It can be painful. It can really hurt. If somebody does turn on you, even if it's your family, it's just they've demonstrated who they are. They've demonstrated who they're loyal to. And you have to just, effectively, you have to let it go. Because trying to fight that fight, trying to convince people of what's really going on will drive you crazy, and it hurts your own credibility. But I realize that is so much easier to say than to do. I get it. I struggled with that too. I know I've talked about that in the past, because you don't want to lose all your friends. You don't want to lose the acquaintances that you have. And you don't want anyone to believe the crap that they're saying about you. You want to defend yourself. And I know that most people are at least going to try. And I get it. And if you have to, then you have to. Keep your mind open, keep your eyes open. And if you see that it isn't helping and it's just making things worse, and you're hearing what you're saying to this person come back around from somebody else, from your ex, just realize, okay, this person or these people are a lost cause, and you have to take a step back. The key on this is whenever you realize that whatever the other person is saying against you, as long as it's not actively hurting you, and when I say hurting you, I mean affecting your job, basically that. If everything else, even if it's your family, as long as your ability to support yourself, put shelter over your head, and put food in your stomach, the rest of it doesn't really matter. And I say that because I got caught up so much in that trap of trying to make sure everybody realized what was going on, what was real, what was fake. And it just got to be an exercise in frustration. And then you have people picking sides. It doesn't help you. Find the people who are genuinely loyal to you. Those are the people that you can actually talk to. Those are the people you can vent to. Those are the people that you can have these discussions to where you're talking about the crazy making, you're talking about what's happening, or you're even saying, because I've said this a couple of times, am I going crazy? Is this really happening? It's so tough, because when you have people who are saying, well, you're a part of the problem, if you tried, if it just takes one person to make this better, it really makes it tough, because then you try and you get poked in the eye and you're like, well, wait a minute, what's going on? When is this going to stop? The problem is, as you guys know, it doesn't stop. It continues on and on and on. 8 years into this, the same stuff is really going on. In my situation, one of the weird turn of events is, for the most part, mutual friends are scared of her being unpredictable, and they just back off. And they're like, you know what? I don't want to be in the middle of it. And I get it. Who wants to? Unless you like drama, and there are people out there who do, it's an exercise in frustration. I don't like drama in my life. I don't like stress. I don't like anxiety. I want things to be calm. I want things to be stable. I want this to be a memory that I can keep on the shelf, that doesn't corrupt the rest of my life. Now I get some of you could say, well, that doesn't make sense because you have a whole channel on this. The reason I make this channel is because I know how I felt in the dark part of this. I know how lost and alone I felt. I know how I didn't think there was a way through this. I was looking at it going, oh my God, how can I spend the next 12 years dealing with this nightmare? How is it going to play out? So my hope is that by sharing this story, giving you some actionable things that you can do to try to help you, that you can get your life back, that you're not stuck in this trap, and that you feel that there's a chance to get to heal from this. Whenever you're in the midst of this and all you feel is darkness and all you feel is this crushing reality, it's devastating. And it feels like there's no way out of it. I don't know how many times that I would sit there thinking, oh my God, this is the rest of my life. I'm going to feel this way for the rest of my life. I'm going to be devastated like this for the rest of my life. When you get in that mindset, it really is easy for that to turn into a feedback loop to where you almost give up. Don't give up. There is life on the other side of this. If you have to do like I did in the beginning part of it, where you're just like, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to bail. I am not going to let this person destroy the rest of my life. It was pretty close. I'll give you that. But I know it's really frustrating. And I know in this time with the holidays coming up, a lot of these situations can be, the nerve can be pushed again because it's probably being thrown in your face. The people that you've lost, the friendships that you've lost, the family that you've lost. Hell, even the family that you used to be attached to, your in-laws are lost. And then for some of us, we lose even our real family, our parents, our siblings, cousins, people that you would expect to be loyal to you. And it makes it really tough. It makes it really hard in these situations to see a glimmer of hope. Find your peace. Find your stability. If you have children, work on your relationship with your kids to make sure that is strong. And whatever anyone else wants to think, they can think it. It's a free world. They can think whatever they want. If they want to think you're a scumbag, you're an abuser, you abandon your family, you're a horrible person, whatever the deal is, it doesn't matter. All that matters is you. All that matters is you getting your life back. You finding peace. Moving on beyond that. Beyond this. Hell, even getting to the point that you're like, you know what? I don't even need these channels anymore. I want to go watch van life videos, and you unsubscribe. That's the goal. The goal is to get your life back and make it manageable for you and minimize the damage that your ex is able to do to you, minimize the damage they do to your kids, and take a hold of your power. Take a hold of your life. If you know somebody who's struggling with this and could use this message, please share this video with them. We'll help them understand that this isn't, if they're in the dark part of this, that this is not the rest of their life. On that, I'll talk with you on the next video. Take care. Bye.